I spent the last 2.5 years building a faceless channel on YouTube and have made over $250,000 in the last 365 days. But time and time again in internet forums, I see people trying so hard to do the same thing but fail. They all spend thousands of dollars, they all spend hours and hours of work only to end up losing money. I also see many of my competitors producing video after video after video for weeks, months, even months on end, but they're still losing money. Well, I actually looked into all of this because, well, it's my job, and I decided to give my take on it, on why 97% of all faceless YouTubers fail. The biggest thing I've noticed is that they all do the same thing, and here's what I mean. From my investigation, they go on Upwork, they hire a writer, they hire an editor, copy the titles of existing videos and expect the views and money to just come pouring in. But unfortunately, that won't work in today's landscape. Maybe 5 years ago on YouTube, people could get away with that, but not today, and here's why. The faceless YouTube market has become a red ocean. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with the term red ocean, blue ocean, I recommend you to check out the book called Blue Ocean Strategy. Anyways, what I mean by the faceless YouTube market becoming a red ocean is that it's becoming saturated, it's becoming a bloody mess. Like, everyone is practically following a few different gurus who are promoting similar tactics of outsourcing. Everyone then hires the same writers, they use the same titles, they hire the same thumbnail artists, and just everything is the same. This isn't limited to just YouTube, however. Pretty much every business in the world faces this issue. And in the online space, that includes Amazon FBA, Airbnb, dropshipping, you name it. A great idea comes out, people copy it, more people copy it, and pretty soon there's 1 million people doing the same thing, and the ocean just becomes red with blood. I see it happening on a daily basis actually, because as a YouTuber, it's my job to keep tabs on the market. It's my job to study what people are doing. Now, the million-dollar question then becomes how to get out of this red ocean and get to a blue ocean. And trust me when I say that there is a blue ocean, because otherwise I wouldn't have made over $250,000 in the last 365 days. Well, I got 3 tips here today for all of you. Are you ready? Tip number 1 is differentiate. The last thing you want to do is just become another one of the millions of copies on YouTube. Don't do this. You'll end up with a headache, you'll lose money, and most importantly, you'll waste your time. Instead, learn how to be original. Look how to take ideas from other areas of business, life, movies, etc., and learn how to include it into your own channel. This way your videos will be completely different from other videos in your niche. It's actually a lot easier to do than it seems, and honestly for me, it only takes me an extra 1 to 2 hours per week to complete this. For example, look at Mr. Beast's thumbnails. Now, even though you're not in the same niche, are there areas you can take from his channel and include it in your own? Tip number 2 is always keep the audience in mind when you're creating videos. You know, all too often, myself included, we all fall into the trap of how to make that next viral video that'll get clicks and bring in money, but all too often that type of thinking is folly. We end up stressing ourselves out, and then we just end up with low quality work, and I hate it. When I focus instead on the audience, I end up producing higher quality work, I have a lot more fun, the audience loves it, and as a result, the views and money pours in. This is just a simple mind shift change, but it is so powerful. And tip number 3 here is to do it yourself first. A lot of people outsource, and I do it too. I love it. It saves me hours and hours of work, but in the beginning, I recommend everyone to learn how to do everything yourself first. The reason being because you won't know what works or what doesn't work at first, and your freelancer won't care either because he or she is getting paid anyways. And even if they do care, they won't know how to do it. For example, a YouTube script is completely different than simply, say, writing a regular movie script. I actually learned this the hard ways. So here's a story. I remember when I first started, I found a guy who wrote Hollywood scripts, and I paid him a lot of money to write me a script. When I read it over, it was a great script. But the thing is, when I edited it into a YouTube video and uploaded it, it had horrible retention and that video tanked, and I ended up losing quite a bit of money at the time. The difference between Hollywood scripts, for example, in my opinion, when I look back on it, is that YouTube scripts are a lot shorter and they really have to keep the retention of audiences in mind, whereas a Hollywood script is generally a lot longer. People are already sitting in the movie theaters and it starts off slow, But on YouTube, if you start off slow, people will just click off your video. See what I mean? First, figure it out, learn it, then outsource it, because at that time, you can give better instructions, and if the freelancers mess up, you can also go in and fix it. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel and drop any questions in the comments down below. Let me know what other types of videos you guys want to watch or any questions you may have, and I'll see you guys in the next video.